wanna la la la. I wanna la. I wanna la la la. I wanna la. I wanna la la la.
Welcome back to another episode of JSE SENS'd. As you already know by now, this is where we make sense make sense, so you can make sense. Just like all of our other episodes, JSE SENS'd is not intended and must not be used as financial advice. Financial advisors are trained professionals. They consider your holistic financial situation before giving you recommendations. JSE SENS'd is strictly for commentary and informational purposes only. It's not even comprehensive enough to be educational material. If you need educational material, reach out to us on the WhatsApp number in the description box below. If you're investing on your own, we encourage you to actually verify the information you find in these episodes. If you're not investing on your own, but you're still interested and you don't want to take our classes, then do the right thing and reach out to an authorized and licensed financial advisor. Let's get right into it. The first company we are going to talk about is NEDBANK. It needs no introduction. I'm sure if you are South African and from sub-Saharan Africa, the lower parts of Africa, you've heard about NEDBANK, right? Old Misho used to own NEDBANK and they sold it. And now they're investing so much money into building a bank from scratch. Like, why would you do that? But that goes on to show that even professionals, even these highly qualified people in skyscrapers and driving big cars and earning millions, they make stupid mistakes sometimes. So NEDBANK is listed on the JSE with the ticker symbol NED, and it has released about 4 announcements, not all at the same time, but we're going to cover them all at the same time on JSE SENS'd. The first announcement was letting us know that they have sold the shares that they had in EcoBank Transnational Incorporated. It says here, NEDBANK Group is pleased to announce that a sale and purchase agreement was entered into with Bouquet Investments Limited regarding the sale of all of the group's 21.2% shareholding in ETI, EcoBank Transnational Incorporated. The sale had a purchase consideration, meaning the money that NEDBANK charged or is going to be paid for that 21% is about 100 million US dollars. In South African rands, it amounts to 1.8 billion rands. So keep that in mind, because one of these announcements will actually let you know where they have took this money. So it's like they sold something to buy something, right? So yeah, I'm not going to go through the trading prices until the last announcement. Now let's go into the second one. You already know they're listed on the JSE with the ticker symbol NED. The second announcement is where they took the money. I'm not sure directly if it's the same money, but you will decide for yourself. It's a voluntary announcement because NEDBANK Group has bought eCoca. I'm not sure if you know eCoca, but there are people who are selling on the streets, like maybe fruits and vegetables or whatever, and they are able to provide their clients and customers with swiping services. Excuse me, man, English is not my home language, so sometimes it escapes me. eCoca has swiping machines for entrepreneurs, and apparently it's not just that. They also have an app, and they provide credit, meaning loan facilities to small businesses and stuff like that. It's a whole fintech company. So it says here on the announcement, NEDBANK Group is pleased to announce that it has entered into a binding agreement on 12 August 2025 to acquire 100% of fintech innovator eCoca for a cash consideration of approximately 1.65 billion. Remember, NEDBANK just sold their 21% stake in EcoBank for 1.8 billion, and now they have bought 100% of eCoca for 1.65 billion. Continues to say the acquisition will result in eCoca becoming a wholly owned subsidiary of NEDBANK, while it continues to operate under its own brand and leadership team. So NEDBANK just wanted to own it. They don't necessarily want to change anything for now. And then let me just tell you a little bit about eCoca, since in my own words, I couldn't find the right words very smoothly. Now, this is what it says on the document. eCoca was founded in 2012, and it's a South African fintech company that provides card machines, digital payment solutions, and business tools to small micro enterprises. Now, this is a big one. You already know NEDBANK is listed on the JSE with a ticker symbol NED. And the third announcement was when NEDBANK came out to tell us that someone has bought or increased the stake that they used to own inside of NEDBANK. So now imagine Old Mutual has sold NEDBANK, and now these Americans are not sleeping on NEDBANK. So the company that has increased their shareholding into NEDBANK is BlackRock. If you don't know BlackRock, then you don't know the finance world. That's what I'm gonna say. BlackRock owns even Eskom, bro. They own Bitcoin ETF. They own the world. They own the world. They are one of the largest, if not the largest, financial venture capital companies. You know, they invest into various businesses, various countries, everywhere in the world. They are very big and have too much money. It should be concerning, but in the age and the world that we're living in, it's not. Apparently, you can have a company that does that, or they, because I doubt any of us can build something like that under their watch, since they already own so much. 5% stake into NEDBANK is a lot. And if you do your research, you may also find out that they own another bank in South Africa. So they are so big, they can even own competition. What we teach in our classes is that you need to make your analysis and find the industry leader and invest into the industry leader, find their competitors and look how they perform against their competitors. Not when you have as much money as BlackRock. When you have as much money as BlackRock, you can buy all the 4 big banks: Absa, NEDBANK, Standard Bank, CAPITEC, FNB. You can own all of them. Yeah, just get dividends from everywhere. So there's levels to this thing. It says here on the document, BlackRock now amounts to 5.03 of the total issued ordinary shares of NEDBANK. That's a lot. They sit on the table and make decisions with this 5%. They get calls, they get consulted when NEDBANK is making moves to say, hey, what do you think? We're thinking we want to use 1.65 billion of the bank's money to buy eCoca. What do you think? And BlackRock also comes to the table in terms of those decisions. Let's go through the last announcement by NEDBANK in this episode. You already know, listed on the JSE with the ticker symbol NED. They also released their unaudited, condensed, consolidated interim financial results for the 6 months ended 30 June. And they have declared some cash dividends. Let's just go through the highlights of their results. So I see here that their headline earnings are 8 billion and they went up by 6%. NEDBANK has a revenue of about 36 billion which went up by 4%. 36 billion in revenue, guys. Like, I think South Africans are not really aware of just how much banks are making from us. We are so used to just having a bank account, like it's a part of your life. In places like South Africa, it's not even an option, bro. You just have to have a bank account, because so many things are not going to happen if you don't have a bank account. People will want to send you money. You have to get paid into a bank account. It forces you to do that. People laugh at America when they're still using checks. Like, they call it a paycheck, because you still collect a check in an envelope. In South Africa, we have nothing like that. We would like to see ourselves as technologically advanced. Our salaries are paid into our bank account. But these banks don't belong to the government. Someone is making a profit. And it's not like they wash those accounts. You can finish 3 months without going to the bank, especially these 4 major banks. You can finish 3 months without going inside the bank, but they're still going to charge you a monthly fee. For what if you don't wash these accounts? Banks are making money, bro, like 36 billion. What they wrote here is 36,406 million. That's 36 billion, bro. And it went up by 4%. How? When the economy is struggling in South Africa. How are these banks still making so much money? We don't talk about that enough. But this is not a political show. We're reporting about businesses. So I would like to maintain that neutrality. I almost lost myself for a minute. 36 billion is a lot of money. So their expenses also went up by about 9% to 21 billion rand. They say here, headline earnings per share has went up by 6%. Basic earnings per share has went down by 8%, because I think it's influenced by the sale that they have in EcoBank. I could be wrong, but usually when a company sells one of their assets, like cash generating assets, then they report a lower basic earnings per share. The reason you have a higher headline earnings per share is because the headline earnings per share doesn't include those ones-off transactions, like maybe selling an asset or something. Keep that in mind. Even though I say this show is not for educational purposes, there's a few things you can learn. It's just not comprehensive to be called educational, but there's a lot we learn here. And then they have declared an interim dividend. When they say interim dividend, here's another lesson. It's because they're going to pay a final one at the end of their financial year. So the interim one is the one they pay half when they're on their halfway through their financial year, and then the final one is the one they pay at the end of the financial year. And they have declared 1,028 cents. That's like 10 rand and 28 cents. And last year at this time they declared 971 cents, meaning their dividend has also increased, because that was 9 rand 71, and then now they declared about 10 rand 28 cents per share. Let me see if there's another thing that we need to note. Oh, yeah. If you want to be able to get this dividend, the 10 rand 28 cents dividend, you need to make sure that you buy NEDBANK shares on or before Tuesday, the 2 September 2025. If you buy it on the 3rd, going forward, you're not going to get this dividend. Maybe other dividends that are going to come, but not this one. So make sure you buy it before the 2nd of September if you want this dividend. I'm not saying you should. I'm not an advisor. I don't know your financial situation. NEDBANK has an all-time high of 316 rands that it made in 2018 per share, and it's currently trading around 229 rands per share. So if you're going to invest, let's say 1,000 rands, just to take advantage of this dividend, you will get about less than 5 shares. You get less than 5 shares, but 4 shares and some fractions. I could be wrong, because I'm working it out in my head. And you multiply that with the 10 rands 28 cents dividend. That's like 40 rands. So imagine spending 1,000 something just so you can get 40 rands. So sometimes dividends sound like they are a lot, but when you look at the share price, that's why it makes sense. They are a lot to companies like BlackRock. Imagine how much they're going to get when they're 5% stake. They're going to get a lot. So that's just about it with NEDBANK. Let's continue to the second company of the show. Now, for the second company that we are going to talk about, it's also a bank. It's CAPITEC. It was only right for me to put CAPITEC after NEDBANK, just so that I can consolidate same industries in the same part of the show. CAPITEC is listed on the JSE with a ticker symbol CPI, and they have just released a trading statement. You know, JSE requires companies to release a trading statement if they think their earnings per share are going to be 20% more or 20% less than the previous reporting period, right? So CAPITEC wanted us to know that their group headline earnings per share will increase between 22% and 27%. How, bro? When our economy is shrinking, how are these banks making a killing like this? Banks are like that person sitting on a corner selling amagwinya or vegetables. They are someone's business, bro. I don't know how I feel about this. Like, banks are making so much money in South Africa, and they are able to just insert themselves at the background of society to a point where we don't think about them every day. We hardly think about a bank as someone's business. We just think a bank is something that you need because we need it to receive money and send it to each other. And that's very concerning. But like I said, this is not a political show. They also wanted us to know that their earnings per share will grow by between the same range, 22% to 27%. CAPITEC has an all-time high of about 3,722 rands for one share, bro. One share is at the all-time high, one share, 3,722, and it's currently trading around 3,633 rands. It's not so far from the all-time high. Imagine buying one share for 3,633. If you want to buy two CAPITEC shares, you have to spend 6,000. It's even 7,000 because 3 and 3 make 6,000. 600 will give you 1.2. That's 7.2. Then 33 rands is 66. So you spend 7,266 just for two shares. If you want to add a third one on top, you're crossing 10,000 for 3 shares. South African banks are making a killing. We don't talk about this enough. But anywho, that's just about it with CAPITEC. Let's go to another company. The third company we are going to talk about has 2 announcements also, and it's HOMECHOICE, also known as Weaver FinTech. They decided to change their name from HOMECHOICE to Weaver FinTech because they believe it aligns better with their future vision, because they are more into fintech rather than just selling blankets. Now, I think, but my friend, they took their business. No matter where you are in South Africa, I'm very sure you know that one, my friend, who drives around selling blankets to our mothers. I don't know if this is only happening to my hometown. This is actually a very good experiment to find out whether these guys are really like infiltrating our economy, not just with spaza shops. I know in my hometown there has always been that one guy driving around with blankets and pillows and stuff. My friend, you know who I'm talking about. Weaver FinTech is listed on the JSE with the ticker symbol WVR. I think I should have worn my glasses today. My eyesight is a bit, it's not made sure. But it's listed on the JSE with the ticker symbol WVR. and they released an unaudited, consolidated interim results report. Right, we're just going to highlight it. Remember, this one is the first announcement. They have the second one coming after this one, and they also declared some cash dividends. Hey, so it says here, let me zoom it a little bit. They have recognized and realized that there's significant 29% growth in revenue for Weaver FinTech. I don't know, man. They say there's some aggressive growth in customers, currently standing at about 3.7 million customers. That's good. It's not so bad. The earnings per share is up about 45%. And their headline earnings per share also up about 45%. And they declared dividends of about R1.40. If you want to get these dividends, you need to make sure that you buy their shares on or before 26 August, which is going to be a Tuesday. Excuse me. If you buy on the Wednesday, 27 August going forward, you're not going to be able to receive this dividend. Now let's go to the second announcement they released. This was a trading statement. Oh, I should have actually started with this one. It was a trading statement letting you know that they also have reason to believe that their earnings per share is going to increase by more than 20%. Remember when we were talking about CAPITEC, we mentioned that JSE requires these companies to disclose when they have reason to believe that their earnings are going to be more than the previous earnings report by 20% or less by 20%. So this second announcement from Weaver FinTech, aka HOMECHOICE, was letting you know that they believe that their earnings would be up by 40% to 50%. And now you can remember that I just told you their earnings per share has went up by 45%, and also the headline earnings per share 45%. Now let's go to the share price. It's currently trading around 37 rand per share, and this is the highest price it has ever been since the name change. Remember, they changed from HOMECHOICE to Weaver FinTech. So TradingView has this thing that they also update these share prices. When a company is like HOMECHOICE change their name to Weaver, they also update the chart, and they make it look like it only started listing on that day when the name has changed. So it's currently around 37 rands for one share, and they pay like R1.40 of dividends per share. I know that on our group on WhatsApp, we are still talking about it. There's a guy who came in and asked about yesterday or a few days ago. He was asking, what do you guys think about Weaver FinTech? And we started discussing it. And I told him that one of the videos we are going to release this week actually features Weaver FinTech. So for those people that didn't know, Weaver is just HOMECHOICE with a new jacket, right? So what do you think about it? Do you think they actually can compete in that space, seeing that NEDBANK has bought EcoCard? It's a fintech company, and other fintech companies like MobiCred, PayFlags, we spoke about that in the group. They are not listed, so it's a very tricky situation if you want to compare Weaver with its competitors. It leaves you to comparing it with big banks like CAPITEC. Imagine these guys are just trading for 37 rands. You can compare them with something that's trading for 3,600. Obvious, CAPITEC is just going to come out on top. Obvious. Yeah. So you let me know what you think about this one, either here or on WhatsApp. The next company we are going to talk about is METAIR Investments Limited. METAIR is listed on the JSE with the ticker symbol MTA, and they also released a trading and operational update. Right. Under results from continuing operations, METAIR says that the group revenue is expected to increase between 52% and 54%. Earnings before interest and taxation are expected to range between 24% and 30%. They say this is positively impacted by the recovery initiatives in the company. You know, once a company starts talking about recovery initiatives, turnaround strategy, means they were breathing through the pipes, right? And they say there's some stronger volumes and the inclusion of Hesto for 3 months from 1 April 2025. So Hesto is a company that they bought, right? And I highlighted a part here because it seems METAIR owns AutoZone. If you know AutoZone, it's owned by METAIR. So if you want exposure into that market, now you know, right? It says, we anticipate that AutoZone will become a meaningful contributor to group earnings by 2026. So yeah, I believe that should be enough reason for you to go and look into METAIR, because you know AutoZone, I'm very sure. And then it also says that they have recorded a loss per share of 90 cents and 95 cents due to the once-off net capital loss relating to the accounting for Hesto as a subsidiary. I told you about headline earnings per share and earnings per share. Earnings per share can be a negative, while headline earnings per share is a positive, because the basic earnings per share is affected by once-off items, but the headline earnings per share excludes those things. So it's a more realistic measure if you want to see a company's earnings. If you are calculating your price to earnings or PEG ratio and you have headline earnings per share, it's wiser to use it other than the basic earnings per share, because it includes some stuff that the company won't do in the next financial year, but the headline earnings per share excludes it. So METAIR is currently trading around 6.50 Rand per share, and it has an all-time high of 47 Rand, which it achieved since 2014, meaning it's currently 86% down from the all-time high. And the last company we are going to talk about in this particular episode is NASPERS. The people from NASPERS call it NASPERS. NASPERS. Like they have the accent is different when they call NASPERS. I know that it used to be called Nationale Pers. It's an Afrikaans name actually. It used to be called Nationale Pers. That sounded very Afrikaansy. But now, after apartheid, they tried to rebrand and hide the apartheid legacy. Apartheid. I know some people will come for me for saying apartheid. They want to hear that R, apartheid. So they rebranded and called themselves NASPERS, just cutting the names shorter from Nationale Pers to NASPERS. I've noticed, I watch a lot of CEO interviews, and I've noticed that their CEO, the one who we are going to talk about just shortly, call it NASPERS. NASPERS. Like there's just a very different way that they call it. But anyway, they are listed on the JSE with a ticker symbol NPN. And they also released a statement to say someone has made a transactions in their shares, and it's one of their guys, right? It's a director, actually a CEO by the name Phuthi Mahanyele Dabengwa. On 30 July 2025, she sold 42,305 ordinary shares. Guess how much she made? She made about 239,608,734 rands and 28 cents. I could be good if she can just give me the 600,000, bro. Like 239 million. Bro, imagine making your first million, or okay, past your first million and now you have 10 million, you have You have cars that you want. Let's say you have 20 million. You have all the cars that you ever wanted. You have those houses. You have a nice lifestyle. 200 million, bro. Yo, 239 million. So imagine if this person can just give me the 39 million, bro. She will remain with 200 million. Bro, these people are making crazy money. These people are making crazy money. 239 million for one person is just bonkers, bro. It's bonkers. You can give away 39 million, you'll still be left with 200 million. Imagine 100 million. 100 million. 10 million, 10 million, 10 million. And you think she's finished 9 million on top. That's 239. Oh, she's not finished. 600,000. These people are making money. Yeah. And listen to this. They say she sold these shares so that she can be able to cover taxes and other related costs. 239 million. So you see why maybe rich people are not so easy to give away money or come and say, hey, I see you, Fentract, you are educating people with finances, take this money and go and grow your business. Maybe they don't do that because they pay a lot in taxes, man. If this is true, and she made 239 million just to cover taxes and other related costs, also me, I don't think I would continue giving away money. Like the money that I'm giving to SARS, hey bro, go talk to SARS. I'm giving SARS too much money. 230. Yeah, no, this was a very good episode, actually. NASPERS is currently trading around 5,598 for one share, way higher than CAPITEC. NASPERS belongs to Rupert. I could be wrong. It belongs to one of these big, powerful people in South Africa. If it's not Johan Rupert, it's the Oppenheimers or the Miners or someone, but it's one of these powerful, rich billionaire families of South Africa. And it has shares in Tencent. Most of its profits actually are generated by Tencent. Tencent is a gaming company from China. They own Mr. D, Take a Lot. They used to own MultiChoice. Yeah. They own a lot of companies in South Africa. Some of them you may be using them daily and you don't even know, right? 5,598 rands for one share, bro. Their all-time high is 6K. So this share price is like 2 rands. 402 rands away from their all-time high. It's not so far off. And they achieved it just last month in July. So you let me know what you think about these companies, man. This was a very interesting one, covering very big companies of South Africa. The two banks and then NASPERS. Hey, there's too much money. Money is like water. You see, we have oceans and seas and rivers. Water is almost endless. That's how money is. Money is endless, bro. If you look around, so many people have so much money, like billions and billions, and they still make you more to show you that this thing is endless. So stop just living paycheck to paycheck and looking forward to that 20,000 salary. You're getting that 20,000 salary and you're good. Bro, you can get as much as you want, but you have to work for it. That's it with today's episode of JSE SENS'd. As you already know, this is where we make sense make sense so you can make those sense.
Cold. If you do like me, you already know. Fuck the low. I tie my J's cold. Tangeray cold. If you do like me, you already know. Fuck the low. And we blow it in the atmosphere.